Hi everybody, it's Russ and my Hammers 11. Absolutely sweating buckets, but doesn't matter. We're still here. I hope everyone's well. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon so you're made aware of anytime I put new content on. We have videos going up daily, but sometimes 2-3 times a day. Loads of great stuff coming up. We've got some good stuff with some charity stuff coming up soon. So make sure you're subscribing to the channel as well as YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff. So you're made aware of that stuff. Loads of great guests, loads of great fans, loads of great fan stories coming up, including today's guest. You can see who it is if you're watching on YouTube. Obviously you can't if you're watching it. You listen to it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever. It's Stevie Sizzle, and we are sizzling today, Stevie, aren't we, man?
Sizzle by name, Sizzle by name, Sizzle by nature today. I got the nickname Stevie Sizzle because I love cooking sausages. And listen, you could cook sausages out the bonnet of the car today.
You can do it on my head. I think you can do it on my head today.
Stick your arm out and I'll put a rasher there. Let it burn away at the window. So you have to close them curtains, lads. Close the curtain. Open the window. Close the curtains.
Oh,
that's
it's
the main
ridiculous.
thing, isn't it? It's
it
absolutely
is.
melting.
Keep the house, keep the bedroom cold, isn't it? Switch.
Open the window now. Open the window now. Don't leave it till you get up there. It'll be too warm.
Already done it. It's been open all day. Isn't it?
Good man.
I've tried a hack today as well. Someone suggested putting a Tupperware dish full of water in the freezer and then putting it behind a fan when you go to bed, rather than, because obviously in essence it's just a massive block of ice. And so we'll see if that works. Not only do we talk football, we talk household hacks as well. You know, we're branching out today.
If you have children, right, and people are out there now going, "I've got kids, you can't be doing that kind of crack," because one of them will start roaring, shouting in the middle of the night. You'll get up, tear out, knock everything over. You're shouting at the missus. She's shouting at you. Something else will fall. Child is screaming. Water everywhere. Fan broken. Electrical fire going off. You're out in the front. House is on flames. Don't do that. That's a bad idea.
Well, you'd be outside though. You know, it's cool outside.
Sleep in the car. I mean, the windows open. Sunroof
Sleep in
open.
the car. At least you've got decent aircon.
Yeah. The old sunroofs used to wind them like that. Them were the days, mate. Huh?
I remember my old car. I used to have an old Peugeot 206. This was years ago, and I bought it with a panoramic glass roof. It was.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, it was like a greenhouse. Ooh. Like today would absolutely be sweltering, but yeah, and it was like
well, look at it this way: for 9 months of the year, that's a moonroof. It's not even a sunroof.
Yeah, it's true.
it's just raining.
Yeah. Anyway, how are you? How are you, Stevie? How's things with you, man?
I'm phenomenal. I'm a half glass full kind of guy at the best of times and at the worst of times. So yeah, I'm in good form. Life is okay. I'm very positive and I'm warm. But I cut the grass the other day and it's still nice and short. So listen, I'm good. I've got plenty of water. Where's the camera? Stay hydrated.
Very true.
Folks at home. Yeah. And I can't complain at all. I'm good. I am missing the kind of planning the next game, you know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of fellas out there that are married or have kids or anything like that, it's their little getaway, and they're like putting a few bob away, and I'm gonna go large the next time and hit the club shop and hit the pub and get a kebab or something afterwards and not worry about life for a few days. But God knows when we're going to see another game. So at the moment, it's just. Trying to be upbeat and think about something positive and try to look forward to something that isn't football. Yeah. Because that other rubbish that does be on the telly, the Champions League and all that, does my nutting. I can't. You see all the plastics on Twitter and.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I wouldn't swap a relegation Premier League battle for a top 4 finish. It's like,
That's it.
I just wouldn't. I just don't think because we wouldn't do well for one thing.
It's too much to lose. To be honest with you, I know it was a nightmare, but since we came back from lockdown, I think you look at the games, and we're lucky we had kind of 2 games a week. Everyone was buzzing for the next one. Even if we lost, we were like, because the start was bad. The first 2 or 3 games we were getting, excuse my French, we were getting hockey. And next thing we were like, all right, it might turn it around. We've only got 2-3 days to wait. So it was kind of like, you weren't depressed for the whole week. You could actually crack. No. You only had a few days and you had to get on it again. So luckily we turned it around. But every game, like the buzz and when the goal went in, it just felt. See, Glory Hunters, they don't feel that. They don't feel that adrenaline rush when you get a goal. It's all well getting a goal and you might be 2-1 up or 3-1 up when you're pushing for top 6. But when you're down the bottom and like Villa won the last few games when Villa won, and everyone was picking up. Bournemouth started to play well, and Watford started to play well, and did they beat Newcastle? I can't remember. Or Newcastle beat them, or it was a draw or something like that.
Yeah, it was a draw.
Oh my God, my boy, we have to win the next day, and we always seem to be able just to keep that little step ahead.
Yeah, you're right. We always seem to just do it.
A couple of goals and like, but it's good that the players felt that. Yeah. The importance of them kind of, not just relegation battle, but every game just became so important near the end, and every goal and every tackle and every thank God Roberto wasn't around, but I was going to say every save.
He might be going to Atletico Madrid.
He made about 4. I watched him play against Real Madrid there when they during the lockdown, and sure he was all over the shop.
I mean, it was like Atletico were like looking at him to replace, be like number 2 to Oblak. He's like the best goalkeeper in the world. It's like, I don't see what people see, honestly. But it was a funny game, as they say. But I know what you mean. It was just like, because we had this sort of, like, as you said, it was like every 2 or 3 days, you didn't have time to wallow in a bad performance. And to be fair, typical West Ham, we hit our decent form just as the season finishes. Right, off you go, lads. See you in 6 weeks. It's typical West Ham. But
yeah, we did.
Yeah,
thank God, because literally, I think that the bit of a break helped Moyes, because he kind of, when he came in, he was playing Anderson, he was playing different players, and he gave them a shot, and they weren't. Some of them were a bit off form. They weren't performing. Some of them were useless as well. Let's be straight with it. But then he had time to think about it. Whereas if the league kept going, you're making mistakes when you're thinking. But he had time to think. Then he got him back there. You could see the coach and made the difference. Like, I love defending. I love proper defending.
Yeah.
Fair play to Moyes. He told the guys to start defending. Yeah. Nice one. You could have said that earlier on, but better late than never, fella. And the guys finally started defending. You could see it was working on whatever they were doing in training. Yeah. They were kind of learning to defend together rather than, I'm just going to go out and do what I want and hope for the best type of thing. Yeah. And it started to work. And them few weeks, I'll say a few weeks, God, how many? Geez, it was like 2 or 3 months or whatever it was. But that kind of helped, because he could plan. And that's why.
Yes.
I wasn't too. I like to say Robbie Keane on him coming in the first place, and I don't think a lot of us were. But them few weeks, so I'm hoping maybe over the break, the next 6 weeks. I suppose there's only a month left or whatever to the start of the season. Yeah. I think he won't let us down when it comes to planning and how he kind of get things kind of organised for the start of the year. It's just who comes and who goes, and
we don't know.
None of us know what's going to happen. Like, look at Tottenham, £1 billion stadium, and they buy some fella from Southampton. I know it worked for Liverpool when they bought half their squad and ended up winning the league eventually after about 5 years. But even the wannabe big boys, they're shopping kind of in the middle tier.
And that's what I think.
And that's the way it's going to be.
And I think in terms of what's happening, no one seems to know how much money anyone's got. Everyone claims to not have any money. Chelsea, I think, have spent all their beans. I think they might, and that's why I don't think, he says now, but I don't think there's going to be a bid for a decent bid in for Rice from Chelsea, because I don't think I can't see how they can balance the books. You know what I mean? It's
you can see what they're trying to do. The story's leaking left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
It's the agents, whatever, we don't know, but then that tries to unsettle the player, then the player has to come out, just like Arnautovic was doing a couple of years ago. I'm your guy, blah, blah, blah. And then that's the beginning of the end. When that starts happening, game over, he's gone. But I think you're probably right. Chelsea spent a lot of money early doors. I know they haven't won anything, but they're after getting that Champions League coin now as well. So that's kind of giving them an extra few quid too. Because Abramovich looked like he'd lost interest last season. Even before the ban, you could see he'd lost interest a bit. But now they're gonna have to, like, they lost Willian and Pedro, and I think someone else as well. Like, that's a lot of good players.
That's a lot of good players, isn't it? It's mental.
I think you're right. Players.
The one club I'm worried about in terms of Mr. Rice is City, because I think they still haven't got a replacement for Fernandinho, and he is the replacement. He's like, that's his position. But we'll see. Who knows? As you said, I don't think anyone. As you said, it's just our friends from 3 Point Lane. They obviously spent all this money on the stadium. They're hobbling around for free transfers now, and it's like,
That's
it. I agree with your point about Moyes, definitely. I think
Yeah,
Moyes
yeah,
is,
yeah. No, I think so. And the frustrating thing probably for the two of us when we're thinking along them lines is that the sooner he gets in a few, if it is championship players or whatever players is, the better, because he can work with them and kind of get them going and get them settled in like he did with Bowen. Like he had him settled in from day one. I was at the Southampton game when he played, and that little chip, I'd love to see him around the goal a bit more next season, because he has that little bit of kind of, he can just drop the shoulder and he can kind of get a little bit of space more so than Fornals. Fornals, when he's in the box, I don't know, is he afraid of the goal line or something? And as you see, like, his mother-in-law's face in the goal, and he just hits it wide because he's scared of his life. Now, he did get the nice one at Liverpool, but you know what I mean? There's been a few little games, like he has that little burst and he runs in and then he's like, all right, finish it. It's, where's my hand? Yeah, it's gone off the other way. So I'm hoping Bowen, he'd be lovely in that little 10 role, but who knows with our system? Who knows?
And I think it's one of those things as well with people like Bowen and stuff like that. You can see the blueprint works in terms of buying these championship-based players or players from different leagues outside the top 5 leagues, like what we've done with Souček. And clearly, and someone like Souček, we could double our money of him tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and I think that's unfortunate. Yeah, exactly. Well, who knows at the moment? But and it just seems to be. I just think with Moyes, I mean, we've unlike a West Ham team I can remember the last few years, we always seem to have a goal in us. Do you know what I mean? I think we were like one of the top goals outside the top 6. I think our goal tally is like.
Definitely the last 6 games, I'd say. I don't think anyone scored more than they were flying in from all angles.
Yeah.
Header,
that's so
when do we score from
for
headers and corners? Like,
that's Kevin Nolan.
2 and 1.
I think that's Nolan's influence.
I suppose him and Big Sam probably have a timeshare somewhere together. So he's bound to learn, pick something off the floor.
Well, he was. It's like we weren't a particularly like tall team or a physical team, and since lockdown we've come back as I think Gonzo said, it's like land of the giants. We were doing long throws in corners. Souček, Diop, Bonner looked dangerous. Bowen has this amazing delivery, which we never knew he had, really, because it was always Snoddy was the one who didn't deliver. And it just gives us a different. We always look like we have a goal. Obviously, we need to sort out the defence, as you said. Although we've scored a crap load, we've conceded a lot more. And to me, that's
Kevin Keegan job, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kevin Keegan style.
But it's the West Ham way. We like that. It's entertaining
we love
football,
that,
isn't it?
We love that, and that's like in the 90s and all that. We never really had a great defence in the last 20, 30 years. We had 1 or 2 good defenders, and then a couple of guys fill in. We were never like a Burnley. But we were always kind of exciting and catch guys on the break, and the last 6-7 games, that's what we were doing. We were going for it. I don't know what was happening, but that just goes to show, like Moyes, good coaches like that, and anyone that have played football, they get motivated by buying into what the coach is telling them and seeing it working. Whereas you need other types of coach to manage the higher kind of player that
right. I know what you
needs to be like, is a millionaire, he's sitting there, he needs to be motivated in a different way, and he gets his buzz from like, if you're a millionaire, you get your buzz from the crowd and doing things and being a little bit individualistic. You could see that in Bournemouth with Eddie Howe, like any player that he paid big money for, he couldn't really motivate them to play with his team and fit them in well. And that's why there's 2 different type of managers. So yes, Moyes is saying, okay, I'm going to go for kind of the unknown player, up and coming player, and that's what he's good at. So let him do it. You know what I mean? Like we are being tight in of course the owners are probably being tight about it too, but Moyes can turn water into wine.
And I think that's what West Ham fans love. We love to see people put it in. And I think with those $1 million players, those superstars,
we're turning them really quickly.
Yeah, we do turn them really quickly. Whereas if we get a young, hungry, maybe British-based player, doesn't really matter, I don't think. But they have that sort of natural wants to perform on the high stage. And someone like Bowen, someone like Souček, these guys, we've picked them up from not obscurity, but not the Premier League and not like Serie A or Bundesliga. They come and they've flourished. And it may well be a stepping stone, potentially, but I don't give a shit. At the end of the day, they're playing for the shirt, and that's all we want to do at West Ham fans, isn't it? Just put a shift in.
That's it. Like, I suppose we're going down the road. Like, I'm not into American football at all. I don't have a clue what's going on there. But a lot of them change team. Like, a lot of the players change every year, and it's like, all right, okay, so, and it's happening in football now as well. Unless you're at the top like Liverpool and City to a certain extent, everyone else. I suppose before COVID, the last season, look how many players we brought in last season. We've changed the whole team. Did it work? No, it didn't. No. So maybe that's what's going to happen after this. Maybe not this season, but the following one. It's going back to type where every team is buying 6, 7, 8 players, and then get rid of the OSO. That's not what we've been keeping hold of the other players, the guys that haven't been performing. Us and maybe 2 or 3 other teams. Because now we can't afford to do that anymore.
No.
Obviously, we don't have the money to do it anymore. So if a guy's performing, crack on. What's the point? Yeah. It's like if you've got a girlfriend and she's annoying you, or if you're annoying her, what's the point? Call it a day and we'll move on.
And the thing about Moyes, as well is, and you talk about motivating the players. When Deck scored that goal,
I love that.
The first person he ran to was David Moyes.
Yeah, I love that.
And I think that makes and also we talk about campaign keep Deck, that's he clearly has an affection with the players already.
But it's like right. So to be fair, Rice has been carrying the midfield all year, probably last year and a half. Yeah. He's covered a lot of ground, and then Souček comes in, and you can see his stats straight away. He's covered more ground than any player in West Ham all season. I think it was his first game in Liverpool. His feet were caught, everything, the whole lot. And you've got Rice now going, oh, Moyes has brought this fella in, and now I'm playing better. I can impose myself more. I have a partner in crime, and I'm not slagging Noble off because he's done loads for us. But now it's time for a different role for him, and we can see that already. And Moyes is doing that, which is brilliant. He spotted that straight away. So that's why Rice is like that. Like I said, the coaching's worked, and he's seen that, and he's like, right, this is my guy now. This is my manager, and it's really good to see. And I'm sure some of the other guys would have. I don't know what Yarmolenko was doing. Remember, he was doing that across when he scored against it. Maybe he was doing the opposite, or maybe he was doing the exact same thing, and he's just doing it in a different way. Hopefully, it's good to see the players buying into it. Like playing straight away a different style of football, a bit more attacking. Defenders actually trying to defend, and then Rice coming in, moving up to the next level, Bowen flourishing. When Fornals came for, I'll put my hand up. I slagged him off every week on Twitter. He's terrible, blah blah blah. But the amount of assists he got since we came back, and you watch him, especially the last game, the amount of running that he does. And I know he gets taken off a lot. He's probably frustrated being taken off every game and subbed every game. But we've got a decent squad. To be fair, we did. Near the end of the season, everyone got fit, and you look at Wilshere. He didn't get a sniff of a game. Did he get 10 minutes? Since we came back, if that. So you can see Moyes wants guys that are going to put a shift in, and if you put a shift in, you keep your place. If you don't, you're off. Simple as that. You're not going to get a game. So he can see Fornals is putting the effort in, he's saying, right, go out and give me 70 minutes, 100%, give it all, and then I'll bring someone else on because you're tired. And that's what he's been doing. So I put my hands up, and I want to apologise to the nation for slagging out Fornals, because he's the assists he got, the runs he was making, the ground he was covering. He's a little bit of an unsung hero the last few games.
I think so, definitely.
And he gave it everything.
No, and again, and what I liked about him as well is he's one of those foreign-based players who doesn't mind getting stuck in a bit as well, and
he'd probably love to a bit more. I think he's afraid to.
I think so, yeah. But I like him.
We'll definitely see him getting better and better and better, over the next few years, because he's young. Is he going to be as good as Lanzini to take over that role? Probably not. We've lost a gem there, unfortunately, with that bad injury. So it's going to be you'd love to see him being a like-for-like replacement, and I think that's what Pellegrini probably hoped for. But he's going to be a different type of player. He's going to be more of a kind of a wide. Now, when he played centrally against Liverpool, he played well. Don't get me wrong, that's away from home. and you can break differently in that kind of game. You need someone with a bit of pace. But I think Moyes knows that. You play a different team at home to away. There's no point playing loads of guys like, with respect, Snoddy and Noble. You can't have too many of the older guys in the same team, especially in home games, because you need to you need to be pushing it a lot. But there's a lot of positives there from the last few last few games.
Absolutely, definitely.
I'm a bit more present now. If you look back at my Twitter over the last 3 months, you would have thought I was gonna jump into a river, but we pulled it out of the bag some way, and we had a great journey. I don't know what we always did. We were worried, man. We were around Christmas time there.
Yeah,
I was. I many times I said we're gone. If we lose the next game, we're gone, and we lost. Oh, gee, we were just lucky. More people were ponier than us.
That's
at the end of the day.
We
managed to squeeze out of it, but I think we've learned a valuable lesson. I think the owners have learned a valuable lesson as well. We put all our eggs into one basket last year, with Pellegrini, and bought an absolute bucket load of players on big money, and they haven't performed. I don't think, Fornells maybe.
Yeah,
that's it.
No, I think, and it's what you were saying before. Having, the right type of manager for the right type of players. I just think Pellegrini, in hindsight, was just the wrong manager for us.
Yeah,
he was.
Yeah.
I think we needed a more grassroots, spit and sawdust type manager, the one who, we like to see a manager on the touchline actually berate a team, and
that's it,
and have that passion, and you think going back, all the good managers we've had in the modern era, most of them are the ones who sit on the touchline just shouting, and we like that because it means they care. Because obviously Pellegrini was picking up a big wage packet. You just never thought he had that passion that Moisey has. You know what I mean?
We want as fans. Well, I want to know. My players are afraid of my manager. That's what I want. There has to be a level of fear there, because if there's not fear there, then there's not going to be respect there. And then someone's on 60 bags a week, he's just going to go, right, I'm happy out.
Yeah,
that's why I'm surprised. I don't know with regards to Anderson. I don't know. I like him. I remember last season, not just one gone, but the previous one. He went on a run of 5 or 6 games, and he just got us. We were just lagging a bit in the season, and then I remember Southampton, he scored a beauty, and he had that really good run again when we were absolutely pony and no one was playing well. And I think people are forgetting that little run that he put in, and he won a few games for us, to be fair. So Palace, I think he scored a screamer against Palace as well. He was on fire, and then just since we come back, he just hasn't kicked on. And you can see, on his social media, you can see he's trying. He seems to be involved, and he's like London and West Ham and back to work, and you can see there might be a genuine kind of care, and he's trying, but I don't know. I just he's not a bottom table player for me, unfortunately.
Some players are, some players aren't, and he isn't one of those players who you pick for the dogfight, and it shows when Moyes didn't put a £30 million player in the team. That just
didn't even throw him up and go, listen, go up there next to Antonio and try and play him. He didn't even trust him to do that, because he knew he wasn't going to run back. And I remember last season, at the start, I think it was the first 7 or 8 games, his stats were he had most tackles in the team, which was incredible.
Yeah.
But then after that, he just, this season, he just completely dropped off. Yeah, completely. He just not having it at all. So we'll see. But listen, we're not going to sell him unless we're going to get proper money, and who's going to pay proper money? I can only see maybe 2 players, 3 players leaving, because no one is going to be able to afford what we want for them.
Well, it depends. There's. I don't know what they're doing, but I don't think you'll get. I think them Anderson. I reckon if you end up with 15, you've done well out of him. I think at the moment he's not really. I wouldn't say you wouldn't get anywhere near what we paid for him.
No.
So if you get half, I think.
Why does that always happen to us? Why do we buy players and they lose value? Everyone else gets player and they shoot up.
And that's why what we're doing now with the Bowens, the Součeks. If we buy any other Championship players, naturally you're going to double your money in them straight away, because you've got a Premier League. It's like Premier League badge to your name now. So So as I said, Souček we paid, what was it, 16 million, including the 3 million sign-on fee, 16.5, something like that.
Bargain.
On today's market, as you said, £30 million, no problem. No problem
Yeah,
at all.
yeah. What did Bournemouth play for eBay? Like 20 something.
I think
You know,
Bone was
it?
I mean, Bone was 17. I think we paid it, something like that. You could sell him for 25 million, I reckon, no probs.
Easily.
And yeah, I mean, and that's clearly the model. I mean, they talk about it being that RB Leipzig model. It's not. It's just good scouting. That's what it is. It's good
RB
scouting.
Leipzig are owned by $1 billion company
Yeah,
that
exactly.
have
But
the
they
most popular
exactly.
drink in the world. Well, after Coca-Cola, obviously, most popular. What would we call it? Sports drink or whatever.
Sports drink, yeah, energy drink. Yeah.
Not even energy drink. Yeah. So like, they've got a few billion behind them. They don't.
But they buy basically young players and sell them for a profit.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just a business working with a football club. That's basically what they're doing. In the same with any other, you go and buy a company, or you go to a cash and carry and you buy 200 face masks at £2 and you sell them for £3. You make a profit. That's basically basic business.
You employ people to go and find them for you, not like us.
Exactly. Well, unfortunately,
you use FIFA
or you don't have your you don't have your scouting network being your brothers, your uncles, your friends, your sons,
top trump cards.
Anyway, 25 minutes into the episode, Steve. Why are you a West Ham fan?
That flew. Wow, 25 minutes.
It does, man. Honestly, and that's the thing. When people go on and go, "Oh, I don't think I'm going to talk," and it's like as soon as you just start talking about West Ham, it just flows, and that's what people love.
It's natural,
it's just funny, man. So I can see the West Ham shirt. I can see the Mark Noble print behind you. We've spoken about West Ham for 25 minutes. Why are you a West Ham fan, Steve? What's your story?
This is an incredible story.
Brilliant.
It started many moons ago on the Titanic. No, I'm joking.
Yes, exactly. It was me and DiCaprio.
Yeah, I swam home.
Exactly. Jack and me painted like Jack, a French woman. Yeah.
Jack gave me a hammer before he got off the door.
From then on, I always promised that I'd be a West Ham fan.
Yeah. No, it's a good one. So obviously, I grew up in East London. I grew up in Ilford. My accent's changed because I moved back to Ireland when I was a teenager. But my mum and dad were Irish. They met in London. I remember I was in the Scouts of the Coast one day. I remember going to West Ham and Arsenal in Highbury, but it was the reserves.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my first game, and I came home to my dad. And it was different back then, like in the 80s. Like it wasn't on the telly all the time. You know what I mean? It was like on the radio or whatever. But I think a lot of us just played football in the park with our friends, and just we didn't care about we didn't care about Brazil and blah blah. We didn't care about Man United and Barcelona. Like probably didn't even know what Barcelona were. I don't think I knew Tottenham were until I was about 10. Irrelevant. Yes. But so I remember I came home from that game and Dad was like, "Oh, what you think?" Blah blah. I was like, I didn't care, whatever. And then we kind of, he sat me down one day and he was like, "Do you want to go to another game?" I said, "Oh, my mates at school, they like West Ham, blah, blah, blah." And he goes, "Well, look at it this way. I suppose my dad and his two brothers and sister moved to London in the 70s for work from Ireland." And he said to me, he goes, "Well, I want to bring you to West Ham." And he wasn't big into football or anything like that. He liked it, but he didn't go himself. But he goes, "I want to bring you to West Ham." And I was like, "Why?" He said, "Because when I moved over," he said, "the Cockney used to look after me." And I said, "What do you mean by that?" He said, like, I suppose he was young, he was a teenager, he was working on the sites and stuff like that. The Cockneys, he made friends with, used to give him a sub before payday and blah, blah, and look after him and his brothers and stuff like that. And that kind of resonated inside him. And he treated good West Ham mates. And that's why he kind of said it's like, I know it's a cliche of saying it's a family, but they kind of looked after him and his older brothers and his younger brother. And, they kind of had that little they were a little gang and they used to go out drinking together and they looked after each other. And he said, if we're going, you're not going to Arsenal again, I'm going to bring you West Ham. So I can't remember what my first game, I don't know if it was Ray Stewart's Testimonial or West Ham and Nottingham Forest. It was one of the two of them games.
Yeah.
Ray Stewart's Testimonial, I think it was 1-1. And me and my cousin, he brought me and my cousin, we just ran around the stadium because it's a testimonial. So it's probably waste on me, but I got to see the players up close and personal and all that. But then he came home with a video, the previous season video or something from his mate. He's actually from Dagenham. I can't remember his name now, but his son had two of these videos, so he gave me one of them. And I must have watched that video about I'm not joking. I would say 200 times.
Yeah.
Easily. Sometimes twice a day. And they were the long ones because it was, I think we were in Division 2 and there's like 40 odd games. Like, so you've got lots of little 2-minute, video of the games. And I just remember all these players scoring. And then Dad, I started really getting into it then. So I got the jersey, the OBAC one with the collar. And Dad brought me to a game then the next season. And we were playing Nottingham Forest or something. And I just remember Frank McAvenny scoring a hat-trick and just falling in love. Falling in love. And there was a pitch invasion after, and we were up in the West Stand. I'll never forget, right up in the corner where they used to put all the tourists, when the Dr. Martin stand used to get all the tourists used to go up in the top left-hand corner. So we were up there, but it was the older stand, if you know what I mean. And I just remember he just caught me by the neck, and we just went down the stairs and straight out into the pitch. And I just picked up a lump of the centre circle, and I brought it home on the tube. Luckily enough, we didn't live too far away, but I just had, like this in my hand, and I put it up on my mantelpiece, and it was there for probably a year until my mother just decided to hoover it up or something like that. But that's where the love affair began, and it was just a kind of not by accident, but it was like, okay, if you're going to support a team, this is what you're doing. You've got a taste of it, and then from then on there was no looking back, and just game by game. And even since I moved back from Ireland, back to Ireland when I was a teenager, probably got more into West Ham because I was the only one in my school that supported them.
I can imagine.
The only one, and there was a shop down in Cork about an hour and a half from where we lived, Football Crazy was called. A few of the Irish lads might remember it, and they had the jerseys, and they might have a jacket, and they might have a clock, and they might have like a rug, just some of the cool stuff, a mug or something like that. And Dad would bring me down every Christmas, and he'd just say, right, let's just get some stuff. And the jersey could be 2 sizes too big, but I did not give a shit. Excuse my friend. I had, you know what I mean? I wore to death, and I wore it with pride. And it was tough. I'm not gonna lie, it was tough. Everyone's over here, Liverpool, Man United.
Yeah, of course.
It's just annoying, but they don't have what I had. They don't support the team why I support my team. You know what I mean? They don't have that connection, and they never will, to be honest with you. And I don't know if I feel sorry for them. I probably don't, because I'm quite happy, and I think everyone that watches this and everyone on Twitter, they have a similar story and a similar reason, and it's probably pretty similar to mine, to be honest with you. We all have that little just clicks.
It all clicks. It always clicks. It's like there's no one I've interviewed who's gone, I went to the first game, and then do you know what? I didn't bother going again, or I didn't get. It's like once you're in, you're in. How people get to that, get in those gates the first time, differs from person to person. I mean, yours is an unusual story in terms of, obviously, in terms of, as you said, it all started because your dad was on the yard with a couple of Cockneys. Yeah, that's and then it's just it develops even more, and then obviously going back to Ireland and maintaining that sort of that love of the club. And I honestly believe the guys who aren't in spitting distance of West Ham, so whether they live up in north of England or in Ireland or in America or in India or Australia, I think they're even more fanatical because they haven't got the luxury of jumping on a train and being at London Stadium in 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
for you, it's still a trek. It's still a commitment you need to do to get to Cork Airport and fly over or whatever, in terms of however your journey is. And I think that really shows, and even like the Scandinavian Hammers and people like that. And that's why I love interviewing people outside of the UK, because outside of England, say, let alone in Scotland and loads of the Northern Hammers as well, because they have this extra. It's like extra dose. Like they've had their Red Bull, their West Ham Red Bull. It just has a bit more about them, and I think it's brilliant.
It's like being a drug addict, but there's only one place you can get your drug.
Yeah.
That's it. And if you live further away from it, it's harder, but. You want it.
Really nice analogy. In a wrong way, it makes perfect sense to you.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Subscription bills, of course.
Yes.
But you know what I mean. It's just like there's that longing for it. And
well, say instead of drugs, say it's a really nice cake. So you love, you want.
There's no cake shop around.
There's no cake shop. There's only one place you can
one
get that
cake shop, and you have to save up to go to that cake shop. But when you go there,
and it tastes even sweeter when
you go all out when you go there.
I can go to that cake shop every Saturday without a problem. It takes you 20 minutes, but for you it takes you a lot longer, and you savour it a lot more. That's the analogy, not the drug analogy, Stevie. That's
Well,
it.
there you go. Yeah,
Or
yeah. Of course,
sausages. We should have stuck with sausages. We should have stick with sausages.
Good sausage.
Stevie said
A good
good
85% meat
Oh.
sausage. You can't beat
yes.
it. No,
You
but to be
can't
fair,
beat it.
I was lucky growing up because I used to be able to go there. Because Ilford, where I lived actually near Loxton Park, so I was very close to Barking. So get on the tube there and boom, straight down. So I was very lucky to be able to go down that old Portakabin Club shop and all that. And I've seen things change. And to be honest, look, I still have lots of family and lots of friends in London. I always had. I used to go back, at least once or twice a year. In my younger days, more so now, to be fair, because when you become an adult, you can kind of you're able to stash a little bit of money away and say to the missus, right, I'm not gonna go to the pub this weekend. I'm saving up and going West Ham every 6-7 weeks, which is great. So
to eat that sausage.
To eat that sausage, but do you know what? It's more than that now. It's the sausage is only probably 50% of it. Now it's the pals. You know what I mean? Now it's the
and that's what I think people. And that's what I
lads,
think people. This is since restart. I think that's even more case because I mean you see, you're really active on Twitter and people on Facebook and stuff like that. You see how much community, and we talk about it a lot. The West Ham community, West Ham family. But it's so true, honestly, and I'm not biased. I don't think I am biased to it because, I've been quite new to this. I've never really integrated myself within the community. I've kept myself to myself a little bit, and just the acceptance of these people to just like, hey, I was. Obviously, I still did play the music at the ground and stuff, so I was still there during restart. God, I was invited to about half a dozen Zoom watch-along parties, and I felt really bad.
Yeah, we were in one of them, yeah.
Yeah, and I had to keep on going into them, or Charlie at Hammers Chat or Anton or the Lions United, and I felt really bad because I couldn't go to all of them because I'm actually fucking working. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't do it all.
Yeah, so I can't do it all. I'm only one man. But yeah,
we had a great one with a few of the Irish lads for the. I remember for the Chelsea game.
Yeah,
and I can't remember a better game, to be honest with you. It was just so brilliant. But there was one or two guys. They're either ahead a couple of seconds, or there was one guy.
Yeah, that's the trouble. Yeah,
he was behind him about 42 minutes. So when it came to the Watford game, I was like, no, I can't do it. I need to just watch the game. There was too much riding on it. I couldn't hear someone shouting.
Well, that's the thing.
And then waiting for the second, it was like, why is everyone indifferent?
I know.
It's really strange.
And that's the thing, because I was there, so I was listening to the Hammers Chat, Charlie and Tom on the thing, and I'll be going, Yarmolenko's coming on. And he was actually coming on, but obviously by the time the delay, if they haven't watched it on a proper feed, more delay, it might be 10 minutes ago. Oh, Yarmolenko's coming on. Yeah, Russ told us that 10 minutes ago. It's like, gave a little sort of heads up.
Around the place. It was mental. I couldn't handle it, that Watford, I couldn't talk to anyone. I was like, no, phone left. Normally I'd be kind of watching the game, tweeting stupid stuff, and then kind of blah, blah, but the phone was to the side. That was it. I was a bit on half time and jumped into the Zoom call to the guys. They want, the heart rate was, we were all like, we were playing so well and we were winning, but we were like, there's still that doubt in there. You just do not know the whole thing's come burning down. Yeah. Oh, the minute they got the goal straight away.
And that was it.
That was it. We couldn't relax, but thank God, touch wood, we
Are you a crowd noise on or a crowd noise off person, Stevie?
Oh, noise! I can't be listening to that. No way. Oh, it's just absolutely. And do you know what? There's some fella there. Obviously, there's a delay because there's some guy, men, women, whatever, watching it, and then they're like, "Oh, that happened," so they're pressing a button. And then people at home are watching it a few seconds later, and then it's just so.
It's actually. So we interviewed a guy called Travis Newton a few days ago, and he works for Sky, and he met the guy and they had a meeting with the guy who basically came up with it. It's actually done all with AI. It's all done because I thought it was a poor bloke in a sound.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
It's all the sounds are loaded on from the FIFA game, obviously the crowd noises because they record them anyway. But it's done by AI. But with Opta stats. So the idea is when a team is dominating possession and they're the home team, the crowd noise is greater. The only thing they couldn't figure out was when you're dominating possession and then there's a breakaway own goal. That's the one thing the computer just couldn't figure out. Why are you dominating possession?
Yeah.
And then letting it go. the one that made me laugh was the Norwich game when we were like 3-0 up at half time or whatever, and the crowd booed them off. And that's when you know you're bad. When the computer turns around, right. Turns against you. You know, whatever his name is, Daniel Farke, he's off. You know. But it's so funny. And Travis Newton has just texted me. How weird is that? I was just talking about. It's like his ear, his ears are burning. But because I thought it was just some poor bloke in the desk, but it's not. It's properly. And that's why there's a slight delay, because obviously it's getting the stats from Opta. So it's
more
not because
jobs lost to robotics.
You see, just when
they're taking everything.
Just when the employment rate in the UK is worse for 10 years,
they're not missing out.
Exactly. Anyway, let's talk about your Hammers 11. So obviously the whole idea of the show, he says, 40 minutes in, is to say, I tell you, time flies when you're having fun, Stevie.
Tell you about
is to do his Hammers 11. So everyone we've interviewed, we've probably about 150 odd people. We ask them to pick their Hammers 11. So it's your individual Hammers 11. The only rule is that you have to be alive to have seen them play. Only reason we put that in is so no one puts the same, because everyone will put the same team in. If it was your greatest 11, your assumption is Bobby Moore, Jeff Hurst, Phil Parkes. But I wasn't around to see Bobby play or Jeff Hurst play.
Exactly,
I was around to see Malky Mackay and Guillermo Franco.
Yes, nice.
Seems a fair swap.
And Guy Demel in there as well.
Guy Demel, God dear. Good old Guy. Really stylish, wasn't he?
Block of a man, huh?
He was just a muscle, wasn't he? He was just like...
Shoulders like a god.
I'm going to try and get Guy on the channel. Cause I think
he was in Dundee the last time I heard. He was probably eating battered sausages up in Dundee. Happy out with himself. It would be the worst place you could be, huh? It's
all about fucking sausages with you, Steve, isn't it? It's always about sausages.
You can't bear a good sausage.
No, you can't. Do you know what? You really can't. And I'm with you. I'm a proper 85% man. I think,
Oh, you got to go. There's no point messing with that 60% business. Nothing. I regret it. Grill them.
I was away for the weekend, and all that was available was Richmond sausages. Oh, God. Wasn't happy. Wasn't a happy man at all. But anyway, back to sausage. We've discussed sausages. We've discussed the employment rate of the UK. We're ticking all these things off. That's what I like. As people know to the channel, we do deviate somewhat on this. These topics. Nothing wrong with that. It's all about two blokes talking to the pub. That's the idea. So for this 11, Stevie, what we'll do is we'll start with a goalkeeper.
So I've gone for people that I've actually seen play like in the flesh. Kicking the ball around, running around, and all that kind of thing. There's a nice mix. So there's only one man for me for goalie, and that's Ludo. End of story.
Yeah,
that's it. Has to be Ludo. He's the man. I think he was our first. We had a couple of foreigners back then, but I think he was. I don't like to use the word foreigner, but you know what I mean. I suppose
I know what you mean.
You're far away European, or you know what I mean. And I just think he was one of the first to get the culture and get what West Ham was and get the fans, and he was a nice guy. He had a heart goal, but he was a gentle giant, and I just the amount of games I've seen him playing the goal and covered in, like, not like now when the pitches are lovely and all, like covered in mud, head to toe covered in mud, and he just gave it absolutely everything every week. He got slogged like an old horse, because like I don't remember there being sub goalie when he was around, and if there was, he didn't get many. I think it was Tony Parkes. I think was the sub goalie at the time, and he might have made a couple of games, but no, Ludo is my number one, and always will be.
He seems to be keeper for ever. He seems to be goalkeeper for the first team for absolutely ever. He's a lovely bloke. He's a lovely bloke, Ludo.
Yeah. The thing about my team as well is, if any of these guys ever needed a kidney and I was a match, they'd get one. That's how high I rate all these guys.
Wow. Okay, the kidney transplant 11. I like it.
Yeah. Sausage and kidneys, they can happen.
It's all awful, isn't it? All meat and offal. That's what it is with you. All right. Okay, we'll put Ludo in goal. You just go for the team as you want to, man. Go for defence and go upwards.
I went with Julian Dix, left back.
Yeah. Because
he's the Terminator. I don't have loads of stats on these guys. I just
We don't.
Do you know
it's
what?
Not about stats.
When you asked me to do this, I had the team done. I would say in about 6 minutes.
Really, it's really funny because some people I've interviewed, like we interviewed, oh bless her, Claire Lacey. Oh, poor Claire, she was agonising.
I watched that, and she had detail on every guy. Like she really thought about it.
She's
a pro. Yeah,
she's a pro.
She knows her stuff.
And you watch, and people say, you watch a football game with a professional, you watch it totally differently. And she, bless her, she was agonising. She was messaging me like weeks in advance, going, I can't do it. I need to I said, well, list just all the players you're going to pick and just pick one. Bless her. But some people, it's just heart straight away. I picked mine almost as you said. Right, who's been goal? I literally went.
Bang, bang.
But some people are really tricky. So other people come to me, I can't do it. There's too many players. It's like, well, some people I say, well, think of a theme, because then that sort of helps to, if it's French hammers, then you can't put
a genre.
Ludo, you've got to put Bernard Lamar in. So it sort of helps to think. But Julian Terminator.
Them Lamar tracksuit pants, huh? Ooh.
Oh, God bless him. I love that. I remember the one time, and why he did it, I don't know. He always used to leave the ground early. Always, he wouldn't. He almost like he wouldn't shower. He'd just throw his tracksuit on and be straight down Green Street, stuck in the traffic. And every time, there's about 3 or 4 games. He didn't play. I think he only played half a dozen games or a dozen games for us.
Yeah.
I remember every game he left, he'd end up literally play it like fans all the way around his car, on his boot, on his roof, just chanting, "We've got Bernard Lamar, he smokes, Marlboro Lights." But it's like, just leave 10 minutes later. It's like we really had to get out so quickly.
Take your time. We'd all do the same.
Time.
Jesus Christ!
They've got to get down to Upton Park or Barking or whatever. But Julian Dix, is it the Terminator?
Broke my heart when he left. But he came back, so he's all right.
He'll be back next year.
He'll come in. But what I used to remember him I don't remember a lot of fullbacks built like him that could attack.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like there was always guys that were kind of fast and nippy, or guys that were solid and just kind of didn't go too far, were afraid to take a shot, give it to someone else. But he was able to defend, manipulate the ball. He didn't care. He would go if he had to. So Julian's my left back. Next to him,
and it was his birthday the other day.
Fair play,
52, same day as Phil Parks' birthday. He was 70.
Oh wow!
There we go.
Wow. Happy birthday to the lads.
I've got the stats if you haven't got them, Stephen.
Yeah, you're the stats man. I'm not. I'm just winging it.
Go on, then carry on, man.
Centre back. I have it written down here, so that's why I'm gazing over here.
Good.
This is controversial now, but I have Winston Reid at centre back as one of my centre backs. I think a lot of people have forgotten what he's done for us, and I will never forget.
10 years has been.
10 years. He could have left. He stayed. We went down. He stayed. He scored that memorable goal against Millwall. He scored the last game out in Park. Like the list goes on and on. Like he just given everything. So Reedy boy, I think people need to check themselves a little bit and just remember why we're West Ham fans. That we're loyal people. Yeah, he's on good money, but that man deserves everything he gets because he gave 8 years solid to us before he got injured. So people forget that. So, and like going out, he wouldn't have been on big money for years and years and years. So if he's entitled to a big contract near the end, I would say I'd rather give it to him than a couple of the other fellas that are sitting on the bench, not putting it in. So that's Winston.
I think with Winnie Reid as well. I think when we'd signed him, obviously there was a big. I remember there being a big fanfare. We signed this, this World Cup defender. Oh my God! Here we go! We're getting Nesta. It's like not New Zealand. Coming from Denmark, from Michelada, it was at £4 million.
I remember that. I remember seeing the picture of just in the white New Zealand kit.
Yeah.
Who the hell is this geezer?
But they didn't concede a goal, if I remember that World Cup either. And for New Zealand, that was fair play. But I think what made him was actually going down, because then he could find his feet. I think he was a bit rabbit in the headlights when he joined.
It's a big jump, like Hayden Fox. It's a big jump when you get thrown into the deep end at the Premier League. Yeah, so he's my centre back. The geezer next to him, Tony Gale. What a man! What a beautiful man. Number one, hair flowing in the wind, defending, leader. solid tackler. He bleed for the cause, and he always has our back now. And it's got nothing to do with me picking the team now, but he always has our back on Sky as well whenever we're playing.
You're right. You're right.
He always bigs us up as well. He's a proper fella. Gail's a top player for us. And I think the two of them in defence will be nothing's getting past that.
No. Reg was funny. I mean, he when we had him on the show, he picked his 11 and he picked himself obviously, and he put himself as captain, penalty taker, free kick taker, manager, first team coach, and director of football. And he's like, and he's just brilliant. Honestly, the man.
He could talk his way into all of them things as well.
Do you know what? He's just a if he wasn't a footballer, he'd be a comedian, because I just think he's absolutely hilarious. And
he's class. He's a class act.
Guy.
Yeah, he's a class act. So next to him at right back would be. So I think if Tony Gale and Scott Parker had a child together, they would have Stevie Potts. He's my right back.
Got the hair from Parker.
They're small, tidy, he's handsome, energetic. He can defend. He can play. He could nearly play anywhere on the pitch.
Yeah,
could. Two of them could probably play anywhere on the pitch. To be fair to him, he played so many games for us. Unsung hero. I love that he got his testimonial. Everyone forgets him sometimes. I don't know why. Like, he's kind of forgotten about. He probably wouldn't make a lot of teams. Yeah, he probably wouldn't make a lot of the teams on this show. But I just have really, really fond memories of him, and just being a solid little defender that would love to bomb up the pitch. You know what I mean? He's kind of like a Dixon type of a mold with Arsenal. Like, these kind of, doesn't matter that they're not massive, they're small and fast. And so Stevie's my right back. Left. We're going left midfield now.
Go for it, man.
This guy, when I was in Loxford Park as a kid, running around pretending to be a player, this was the guy I used to pretend to be. My all-time favourite West Ham player is Stuart Slater.
Slates. God
Loved him. They say never meet your hero, and I haven't. Because, honestly, I used to think I was Stuart Slater. I used to go down the park, I'm playing left midfield, and that was it. That was it. I was Slater. I was running up and down, and he wasn't with us that long. Now that I look back, but when I was watching him, he was like he was with us forever. But yeah, Slate is my left midfielder. In the middle, I mentioned him a minute ago. Got two centre midfield. I'm picking a proper 4-4-2 here now. None of this 3-4-4 business. Try and get everyone in because we want everyone to be in the team. Proper 4-4-2 like West Ham. I've got Scotty Parker. Another guy that broke my heart when he left, but that man owes us not. He had to go. Come on, like the messing that was going on with our club sometimes. You couldn't hold that man back, and he gave us some good years, and he was hammered a year, numerous occasions. That we could all talk about different games, Wigan away, and all these different games that he put in like 800,000%. Delighted to see him do well with Fulham now.
It's nice.
He deserves it. He deserves it. But yeah, he's my midfielder.
And you saw the interview. I mean, the interview afterwards, which obviously people have done a meme with the streets and stuff.
Yeah, it's class.
It's brilliant. But do you know what? He's just like such a nice bloke, and it's like I would love to see him. You know, a few years down the line, who knows? You know, Moyes is not going to be around forever, but I think he's. I just think he's got it. So I think we'll see what happens. But I'm really happy for him that it's all worked out from at Fulham. Because and you're right. I mean, people, and we'll probably get some haters of it. But at the end of the day, when we went down, he's a professional. It's his career. And it's like. Very, very few people will do a Trevor booking and will stay at the club for 3 years or whatever. In essence, the championship. That doesn't happen now. He needed England. He needed to do it, and it's a shame. It was 3-point lane, but it doesn't really matter. I don't think it's nowadays it's a business, isn't it? It's their careers.
They didn't really pull up trees with him anyway, so we'll let them off. But I think one thing people need to remember. And listen, we have players that left in the past and we dislike them for whatever reason, and I'm one of them people. But you got to think of some guys that do put in the effort and do give everything for us. they might have families, they might have kids that don't want to move school, and he might have family in the area. They might have a sick relative, mom or dad that they want to be close to. So you can see why. Money is one thing, but sometimes you want to stick around in the area for your family and get extra money. If he got way more money off Tottenham, taking that money off of them, happy days. Right, next to him in the middle is I don't know, could you call him engine room? I see him as a box-to-box midfielder, to be honest with you, but because he had sometimes he just let off a shot and a half, but he'd always be up and down, and he loved to tackle. Ian Bishop.
Oh, Bish Bosh.
So yeah, Bish Bosh. He was one of the guys I grew up loving as well. That ponytail, the hair slicked back just a small bit, just proper midfielder. They don't make them like that anymore. He could do everything. You could see, like, if he was around now, you could probably say, because he had a good foot on him, you could probably say he could probably play to the right a bit as well, because he had decent crossing. But sometimes he could just launch this shot, and he seemed to hit it through straight through the laces, and just hit just a rocket of a shot from nowhere. But he loved to tackle, and we love tacklers.
Yeah, we love. Because you put me in his team, we'll get a retweet, so it's fine.
The man.
Bish is a big friend of the channel, so every time everyone puts Bish in, I was like, hey, retweet.
Hopefully he's in a bar in America somewhere living the dream.
Oh, he's awesome. Honestly, I love him. We've had him on the channel. He's an absolute gent. So much so that he wouldn't do an 11 because he didn't want to upset any of his old teammates. And you know what? I didn't care, because it was. I love him. I think he's a lovely bloke. Yeah. Okay, man. Let's go right
wing. I suppose he probably could play anywhere across. I don't even know if he did play right wing, but he probably did a few times. Joe Cole, just a beautiful individual. I remember that FA Cup youth game where he just tore people to pieces, and I just remember him just destroying, ending careers, especially I remember his first game was away in a cup. And he ran behind the goal, celebrating around the back of the goal, and everyone would go on touch distance him, just little things like that. And I remember a game we played Man United. I think it was 5-3. People might remember it. And he had the jersey out. I remember him nutmegging Roy Keane and just going, "Beautiful, man, beautiful." And look, he left. He went to the enemy. He went to Chelsea. He done his thing. Fair play to him for coming back that time. I know he wasn't his best, but he said he owed us a little bit. So fair play to him. And he always that's how you leave a club and come back, or even leave a club. You stay respect. Other players have left and they haven't given us the respect that we deserve for bringing them through. So I'd say fair play to him. But yeah, Joey, he could just turn it on when he wanted to, and he was a beauty of a man and a beautiful player. And yeah, we won't see the likes of him again, especially for a long time. Someone that could do it.
I think also, Joe Cole was, and unfortunately, I think he, as he was progressing through the Chelseas, the Liverpools, and England as well, the game changed, and that maverick free role player just fell out the game.
Vanished,
you don't get a free role player now. I mean, you think even like the Hazards of this world, when he was on the left really, and it's a shame because I think him, Joe, a traditional sort of 10 role or a free role, can do what he wants, would have been even higher in terms of what he could have
if he was born 10 years earlier, he would have been one of the best players in the world, because he had a Gaza-esque about him, and he would have only just got more raw and more better, and he would have just let loose even more. So
it's a good shout.
So my strikers.
Yes.
My strikers, right. I mentioned him earlier on.
Ilian. What?
Ilian Robbie
Keane.
No. I'll never forget that miss, Robbie Keane. Remember he was sliding the ball. I'll never forget. Anyway, no, I went Frank McAvenny's one of my strikers, just for the sheer fact of just watching him as a kid. Just seeing him just banging in goals left, right, centre. My first proper game my first proper league game as well, seeing him score that hat-trick against Forest. I think they were all in the second half, or all in the first, I can't remember, but they were all in one half. I think he actually scored 4 and another one was offside. But yeah, he just an absolute machine of a man, a proper geezer as well when it comes to living the life, and he lived it. And yeah, Frank McAvenny's up there. Next to him, this was really hard. it was between 2 or 3, but he left years and years ago, and he came back. I remember him coming back and wearing the pony, the pony shirt, and Tony Cotty for me just. I'll never forget how happy I was. Got home from school, and it was on the news or something. West Ham side, I think it was on CFAX or something crazy like that.
Yeah,
it was well before the days of Sky Sports News, and just saw Tony Cotty, and I was like, this guy. And he was playing for Everton. He was scoring those goals, and he come to us. I was so happy, and like. I love John Hartson, and I wanted to throw Hartson in, and I suppose I haven't gone for Di Canio or any guys like that. John Hartson was a close second. Would have been he's probably my sub striker, if you know what I mean. But Cotty had pipped him into the team. Him and McAvenny. I would just, if they were together now, on the shoulder, Fox in the box, and on the shoulder, like powerhouse master McAvenny just blasting shots everywhere, and Cotty just picking up the rebounds and just scooting in over the top. I think the two of them together would just be phenomenal for us now. I think they're probably two of the strikers that would walk into the Premier League now if they were around now, because they would just run at people all the time. It's something that we don't see as much anymore, especially over the top.
Isn't it? You don't usually get partnerships.
Yeah, we don't have partnerships anymore.
Three. It's usually like, you got to think, okay, well, Liverpool, it's Firmino, Salah, and Mane, and there's not like Cotty, McAvenny, Hartson, Kitzer. You don't get that big man, little man type thing anymore now. And
no, it's not. So the two of them, I think that I just have fond memories of them, and I've seen them play, and I'll never forget them. They're just brilliant individuals, brilliant players. They owe us nothing. They gave us everything, and they're my two strikers. I'll just mention my subs because I thought that these were guys that were close. So I have two defenders, which was Rio and Repka. Unfortunately they can't get into the side, but you can see why, because the players I picked, I think they're just 100% claret and blue. Moncourt and Martin Allen would be my two sub midfielders. I just like if you're winning 2-1, right, and you're under a bit of pressure, who would you bring on? Maybe Martin Allen. Oh, Martin, you're still not fit after last week. All right, Moncourt. Either of them. Nothing's getting past. Nothing's getting through the middle there. They could sit in the hole all day long and just smash people. And sometimes that's what you need. Now, they could ball as well, do not get me wrong.
Yeah, they both play. I mean, when I mean with John, Monks, him and Bish, he reckoned there was about 2-3 seasons where they'd fancy themselves against any midfielder, any midfield combo in the Premier League.
Yeah,
Keane,
proper technically
Vieira,
good.
Take them,
Moncourt. I actually used to. I think Moncourt, he had the high tech boots with the flap over, and I used to have them. But I bought them because of him. I think him and Bish, they bought high tech. Bought high tech with the big tongue. Yeah, I had them boots, and I loved them. And I used to think I'd be playing, because I used to play like centre midfield or left. I used to think I was one of them. As I got older, when I wasn't as quick as Stuart Slater when I was small, but they were two proper, and obviously. Hartson would be my sub striker. I actually met him a few years ago at a radio event, and he was such a good guy. I had a chat to him about his cancer, because I lost my dad to what he had, brain tumor, and he was just so humble and so nice, and got a big hug from him, and you could just tell that he was just genuinely appreciative of the conversation that we had, and fair play to him. He came through it in the end, and every time I look at him, it gives me hope that there's other people out there that can overcome such a horrible disease. But top guy. Still looks out for us. Yeah, he's fond of us as well.
Oh, he's great. We've had him on. He's I must have, when we had him on, we've had. I reckon I chatted to him for about an hour before we started recording, and I reckon we chatted for about an hour afterwards. He was immense. He was like, he was an amazing person, and he's really looked after himself in lockdown. Honestly, the size of his arms. When we did Cross Hammers, literally his arms were like the size of my. They were just muscle. Like, honestly.
A few of my pals went to a stag, and I don't think I've been to Swansea. There's meant to be a street on it where they put the bollards up at the weekend or whatever, and just so cars can't drive down. Yeah. And a few of my mates went over there on a stag, and they met him in the pub. He ended up staying with them for the whole night, just having a few beers, just cracking on, no problem. The wife was ringing him the whole lot. He was getting in trouble, but that just goes to show the man he had time for everyone. And yeah, he's
awesome.
Yeah, he's unfortunate not to be in my side, but McAvenny and Kai just had too much.
He's on the bench.
He's good enough. Got a good squad there, I think. Got a good squad. Got a good squad afterwards, after the game as well.
Yeah, oh god, that's the thing with Bish as well. I mean, you've got to be funny. Bish likes a bit of a, Bish tells a story. Well, actually, Martin Allen tells me a story, which he made me talk to Bish about, where Bish would always have a pack of polos in his shorts, in his short pocket, because obviously they'd go out after training, have a few light ales, and next day, so he didn't smell of any booze, he'd have polos. So I said, "Oh, Bish, Martin tells me you like polos." He went, "He's a fucking liar. It was they were extra strong mints. They weren't polos. They're extra strong before I was drinking." I was like, "Do you know what? I can so understand that." And his interview is brilliant because he tells all great Bish. I mean, Bish and actually at Mad Dogs is amazing, But some of the stories that generation had was just incredible, and Monks as well, because obviously he has like so many stories about his training, ground antics, and he just spoke about them so openly.
He's
crazy.
Like,
I mean, I just didn't have no kit, so I just ran out naked and did a Klinsmann dive, and I didn't have no kit, but I had kit next day, and I've always had kit since. I was like, all right, John, but good funny, Stevie, man, it's been amazing chatting to you. An hour has flown by without us even thinking about it. I blinked. And an
there you go. Listen, I'm available to come over for Christmas dinner, no problem.
Oh, exactly. Available for bar mitzvahs.
Available for everything.
Everything. It's been great, man. Thank you so much for your time, obviously, and thank you to everyone for watching as well. Again, very humbled by all the support for the channel. Like, share, subscribe, comment who you want me to interview. If you want to come on, give us a shout, drop us a DM, and we'll get you everyone on the channel as soon as possible. And from me and Stevie, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Come on, you irons, indeed. Stevie's all ready. And until next time, take care, everyone. Stay safe, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Wow, wow. See, I don't like needles.
I forgot what arm it was.
I don't like needles. I couldn't get a tattoo. Same thing. I couldn't. I'm really, really phobic of needles. It's just the one thing I really hate.
Listen,
it's really
you've
weird.
got it there. That's all that counts.
Exactly. Got it there. It just gets into your skin, doesn't it, without realising. But anyway, guys, take care, everyone. Stay safe. We'll see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.